against Athletic Club de Bilbao 2-0 with a goal by Rafinha and a goal by the Ferminator, Fermin Lopez. This was Barcelona's second fixture of this season, but their first fixture or first home match of this 2026-2027 season. And Barcelona now officially have 6 out of 6 points, 2 victories, 7 goals in 2 matches, which of course tells us that no 9, well, no problem. And that's very important because earlier today, I'm going to review this in more detail during the news video. But earlier today, Gilmarin once again saying that they're not going to be selling Julian Alvarez to Barcelona. But no worries because we have that covered. Rafinha played as a false 9, scored 2 goals against Elche. Today he plays as a false 9, scores a goal. Fermin Lopez plays as a false 9 last match against Elche, scores 2 goals. Today, he scores a goal. Everybody talking about Rafinha playing that false 9 and scoring 3 goals, but everybody's forgetting. So is Fermin Lopez. We have 2 false 9s with 3 goals each, and we're only 2 matches in the season, which is clear. No 9, no problem. Now, is having a 9 would be better? Sure, I'm sure it would be, but not having it is also would be completely fine. Blaugrana X says, like, Momo, by the way, your video is staticky. Staticky. In which way? In which way? In which way? Like, is it the sound? Is that what you're saying? Is everybody else seeing that problem? Let me know. I can refresh the podcast, or not the podcast, sorry, the stream. But if not, we will continue. Now, overall sensations, I thought Barcelona today played a much more complete match than sounds and frames. Interesting. All right, hold on. Let me refresh my stream. If it's better now, I don't know what's going on lately with my stream. I think it's my software. Don't worry. I found a new one. I haven't set it up yet, but I do have a new software. Is it better now? Let me know, please. If so, we will continue because today I think Barcelona played a much more complete match than Elche, even though against Elche we won 5-0 and this time we only won 2-0. So it might sound crazy, but to me, I thought it was a much more complete match. I thought Barcelona dominated better. They moved the ball better. Pretty much they did everything better, in my opinion, than they did against Elche, despite scoring less goals. And I think the only reason why we scored less goals was, of course, that Unai Simon had an incredible match, and that's what allowed Barcelona to stay 2-0. But let's talk first about the formation, and then we're going to talk about the general match, and then, of course, we'll end with specific players. But let's look at today's formation because this is what Hansi Flick picked today for today's match. Here we go. We had, of course, Juan Garcia in goal. We had Pau Cubarsí back in the lineup as a starter, of course. Last match he didn't play at all because he had just came back from the World Cup. But Pau Cubarsí back in the starting position, right next to Gerard Martin, our 2 starting center backs. Eric Garcia once again starting ahead of Jules Koundé. I think my prayers have been answered. I've been saying this since last season. I've been saying that both Eric Garcia and Joao Cancelo needed to start ahead of Koundé and Balde because so far Koundé and Balde had been the starting fullbacks. So far, they had done good jobs until last season when they started doing badly. And I said I hope Flick would put Eric Garcia ahead of Koundé and Cancelo ahead of Balde. That way, Koundé and Balde can start, competing again and realizing that their spot is not guaranteed. So second match in a row where Eric Garcia starting ahead of Jules Koundé. I'm very happy with this decision. Hopefully, this will put some pressure on Jules Koundé to step up his game. Once again, Xavi Espart getting a start. Not only ahead of Balde, but now ahead of Joao Cancelo, which begs the question, does this mean that Xavi Espart is going to be the starting left back even ahead of Cancelo, or is this just Hansi Flick starting Xavi Espart while Cancelo, gets back into the team dynamic since he has been gone the whole summer, first for the World Cup and then with the preseason Al Hilal? I don't know, but Xavi Espart so far has been pretty amazing for me. So I don't know if Joao Cancelo will be able to get that spot back, or maybe he could. We're going to have to wait and see. Marc Bernal starting today in that pivot position with Pedri and Fermin Lopez in the midfield with him. And then, of course, our front three, Lamine Yamal, Anthony Gordon, and Rafinha playing as a false 9, even though later on it was Fermin Lopez that was playing as a false 9. Kind of the same game plan as Elche. Now let's talk about the match in general terms, because I feel like the team started off a little bit slow, and then as the minutes went by, they started improving. In fact, the second half was much better than the first half, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that, of course, the team is still kind of like in that coming off the preseason, right? They're still shaking that rust off. They're still getting back into competitive rhythm. They're still, getting, sharpening those last little bit of details. And of course, they're still getting used to each other because there are a lot of new faces on the team. But which begs another question. If this team is still, because against Elche, we saw the same thing, the team starting out slow and then getting better with the minutes. But if this is the team shaking off the rust, coming back from summer vacation, and they've already scored 7 goals in 2 matches, what is Barcelona going to look like once they're in full competitive rhythm? That's a pretty scary thought. Not for us, of course, but for the rest of the league and probably for the rest of Europe. But anyways, Barcelona started the first half a little bit slow, but despite that, they were still moving the ball quickly. And I'm really liking that. There was a lot of times last season when we complained about the sluggish movement of the players and of the ball. We're not seeing that so far. We haven't seen that in the preseason. We haven't seen it in these 2 matches of the season. But Barcelona were moving the ball quickly with purpose. Very, very important. And Eric Garcia and Pau Cubarsí, to me, were absolutely phenomenal in the first half, constantly finding forwards with line-breaking passes. I mean, to be able to have 2 defenders that can break the entire mid-block of Athletic Club de Bilbao and finding attackers, I mean, that's very hard to find. And we're blessed that we have both Eric Garcia and Pau Cubarsí they can do that all the way from the comfort of Barcelona's half. Now, Athletic Club were mostly content to defend in the low block and kind of counter attacks. They only succeeded very few times, and the very few times they did succeed, there was Eric Garcia, there was Pau Cubarsí, ready to intercept those passes, ready to intercept those attacks, and overall, Athletic Club de Bilbao didn't do much danger. Now, Barcelona, again, despite starting the first half a little bit, tiny bit sluggish, they still created a lot of chances. We saw Lamine Yamal had a perfect curler that was saved, I don't know how, by Unai. Brilliantly saved, by the way. Athletic Club de Bilbao saved time and time again by Unai. We saw Rafinha hit the post with a header. We saw Pedri score a goal that was disallowed for offside, even though I don't know how much influence Lamine Yamal had in that play. I kind of disagree with the offside, but whatever. At this point in La Liga, I don't know what's offside. I don't know what's penalty. I don't know what's a handball. I don't understand any rules now in La Liga. And then again, Lamine Yamal had another chance that was stopped by Unai, which I think he acted a little bit selfishly there. He had Anthony Gordon wide open. He could have made the pass. It scored. So 4 clear chances right there that could have been goals. Well, one of them was Pedri's, right? But it was ruled offside and it shouldn't have, which goes to show, hey, if Barcelona start slow and they can still create 4 clear chances that could have easily been goals, it just tells you the level that this team has. And of course, eventually the pressure did work because Pedri put on out of this world pass, breaking all of Athletic Club de Bilbao lines, sneaking through the pass to Rafinha, who acted like a true 9, dribbling past Unai Simon, and then scored the goal. And like I said, no 9, no problem. I do have to say, though, Rafinha was caught, I think 2 or 3 times offside in the first half, which of course goes to show that, he's not a true 9, right? But that's normal. He's never played in that position. This is his first time playing that position, so he's got to take a little bit more time to refine the little details. But he was caught in the offside a couple of times because, of course, he's not used to that. He's used to receiving the ball in front of the defenders and then running with it. But I'm sure with the time, as the time goes by, Rafinha will definitely improve. In the second half, I thought the team was a lot better. They controlled the match even better. Not that they didn't control the match in the first half. I thought they did. But in the second half, they controlled the match even better. I mean, Athletic Club de Bilbao were nowhere to be found. They had just one chance, which is when they hit the post. And within a few minutes, right away, we saw more clear chances that could have been easily goal. Lamine Yamal hit the post. What's his name? Xavi Esparra had the shot from the distance. Fermin Lopez was denied twice. Gordon fired a shot right past the bar. We had a brilliant cross by Lamine to Adeyemi, who unfortunately his shot was was blocked by Unai Simon. And then again, Barcelona maintained the pressure. And then, of course, eventually came the goal by Fermín Lopez, who was playing as a false line in the second half. It was a cross from Adeyemi, really poor clearance from Laporte, who technically ends up assisting Fermín Lopez. But of course, you have to be there to make those shots. So yes, it's a bit lucky because of Laporte's clearance was terrible. But you had to be there, and Fermín was there like a true nine, even though he's a midfielder, and he was there to push it in. Now, of course, we did see the debut of Rodri to a standing ovation. I haven't seen a signing get welcomed like that in a very long time. I can't even remember the last signing that was welcomed like that in a very long time. The first few minutes, Rodri looked maybe a little bit out of place because, of course, it's his first time playing with Barcelona. But within 5 minutes, he was already doing Rodri things, right? Moving the ball, connecting the lines, helping with the defense. I mean, Rodri is Rodri. I mean, his ability, Rodri's positioning is out of this world, right? He since he's not really a fast player, he knows how to read the game. He knows how to move about the field to position himself in the right place before something happens. In that way, he's there to either receive a ball or make the pass or intercept a pass or, take the ball away. Whatever it is that he has to do, he's able to read the game, anticipate, move to the right spot. In that way, when whatever he anticipated does happen, Rodri's already there to cover it. And that, of course, that kind of football IQ is very rare. That's something that we saw with Busquets, who to me, the best who has done it so far. We see it in Rodri, and I see it in Bernal because, of course, Bernal played in that position for 60 minutes, and you see that IQ, that special IQ that takes from a true Barcelona defensive midfielder or pivot, and I see that in Bernal, I see that in Rodri, and of course, the two of them remind me of Busquets so much. Now, of course, I'm sure we're going to get to see more from that Rodri magic. We didn't get to see much of it today, but what can I say? He has debuted. He's here, and I'm very, very glad that he's here. Now, I got to say something about overall the players is that this season, this team looks much better than last. And I know it's only 2 matches in the season, but the reason why I think that this team looks stronger than last season, because we have closed the gap between the starters and the subs. And when I say close the gap, I mean, the skill level gap, right? Before, you had Lamine Yamal, the best in the world. If he was out, if he was injured, whatever, the next guy in line was Rooney Bardghji. And it was like a huge drop in skill level to go from Lamine to Rooney. Now, if Lamine is not available, that's okay. There's Adeyemi, who sure might not be as good as Lamine, but he's not down here like Rooney was, right? Same thing on the left. Before, it was kind of like, oh, Rafinha, he's injured, he's whatever. Oh, it's Rashford. I don't know. Sometimes Rashford would be up here. Sometimes Rashford would be down here. Now we have Gordon. We're completely covered, right? The fullback positions, Xavi Espart. Cancelo's not available. Xavi Espart can do a wonderful job covering for him. Same thing on the right. Oh, Koundé's not available. Eddie Garcia is doing a great job. I think we have closed the gap, the skill gap between the starters and the substitute. And that's, of course, very, very important. That's the hallmark of a championship winning team, because as a team, you have to rotate. There's no way around it. You have to rotate. And even if you don't rotate, you're still going to eventually miss players due to injury, due to suspension, exhaustion, sickness, whatever it may be. You will rotate. Whether you plan it or it's forced upon you, you're going to have to rotate. And when teams have a big discrepancy between their starters and their subs and they rotate, that's when they drop points. That's when they get knocked out of championships, because the skill level drops because the substitutes are at a much lower skill level than the starters. That's not happening this season. If any of the starter needs to sit out a match, not a big deal. The sub is right there, very close level, and we're rocking and rolling. So it's very, very exciting to see this Barcelona play. I think this team is looking much better than last season. I'm seeing a team that presses much better, that plays with a lot more intensity, that moves the ball with a lot quicker, with a lot more with more purpose. I think Anthony Gordon and Adeyemi are fitting like a glove. They look so adapted to the team, like they have been playing for Barcelona for 2-3 seasons already. Fermin Lopez is having another phenomenal season. I think Fermin Lopez is going to hit his prime this season. His first season, 2 seasons ago, we saw what he was capable of. We're like, wow, this player is pretty impressive. Last season, he blew us away. This season, I think he's going to do even better. I think Fermin Lopez is definitely going to hit his prime this season. I mean, he is out of this. The way he's playing right now is just absolutely phenomenal. Kubarsi almost scored a goal with a bicycle kick. I mean, the level of this guy, he's a freaking center back, and he's trying attempting like bicycle kicks. I mean, this team is just out of this world. And Xavi Espart continues to be the surprise of this season. Every season we have a surprise from the academy. This season it's Xavi Espart. And honestly, I can see Xavi Espart definitely starting in the left back position, a position that he's never played in, by the way. It's absolutely insane. And even when he was moved to the midfield, he was still doing amazing job with his passing. I mean, he reminds me a little bit, and not to compare, of course, because they're miles apart, but he reminds me a little bit of a hybrid between Xavi and Iniesta, the way he reads the game and the way he moves and the way he positions his body and distributes the ball. Obviously, I'm not here to say that they're at the same level. No way. It just reminds me of them, of the way they viewed the game. Of course, he is only, 19 years old. We have the youngest team in the entire league. And I am very, very excited, very, very excited for this season. I think Barcelona is definitely a candidate to win it all. Of course, the season is long, things can happen, but this team is looking much, much better than last season. I think the signings have only made this team better and stronger. And by the way, for those Lamine haters, they were like, oh, Lamine, his face, blah, 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 blah. He had a phenomenal match today. 10 out of 10 for me for Lamine Yamal. Sure, he didn't score, didn't assist, but honestly, it was mostly Unai Simon just stopping his shots than anything else. But I saw Lamine Yamal once again back to his form. I mean, what else did you expect? He had just came back from a 3-week vacation. Of course, he was going to be a little bit rusty. We saw it against Elche. Today, we saw the old Lamine dribbling past defenders, combining with his teammates, just being a headache. The only thing he needed was to finalize. And that, of course, is going to come. So I think Lamine Yamal had a phenomenal match. And that just goes to show you that he truly is one of the best players in the world, because when you are one of the best players in the world, everything you do is just up to interpretation. Oh, if he's laughing, oh, he doesn't take things seriously. Oh, if he's serious, oh, he's a brat. He's just disrespectful. If he has no emotion at all, oh, he just doesn't care. No matter what he does, they're always going to find something to say. So tune that out, because, haters are going to hate. What else can he do? I mean, they're miserable in their personal lives, so they have to hate on others to make themselves feel a little bit better. But overall, a good match by Barcelona. Again, started a little bit slow, got better with the minutes. Second half, much better than the first half. Barcelona were dominant. Athletic Club Bilbao had absolutely no response to what Barcelona were doing. Barcelona created so many chances. Unai Simon really saved Athletic Club Bilbao. This could have easily been 5-6-0. And again, no 9, no problem, because we have a wonderful team that plays as a team, and it doesn't matter who plays in what position, it still works, because Hansi Flick has created a well-oiled machine. And when you have a well-oiled machine, you can swap out the parts. That machine is still going to work, and that's exactly what we've seen. Anyways, we'll see. Of course, Barcelona got to play again. I think it's on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. This was a midweek game because Barcelona did start a week later than the rest of the Liga. So did Real Madrid, because, of course, the World Cup. They had a lot of players in the World Cup. So this was kind of technically fixture number 1. Elche was fixture number 2. But Monday, it's back to the regular schedule with our third fixture. Anyways, I got to run. I wish I could do some comments, but I have an appointment at 6:45. It's 6:40, so I got 5 minutes to make it to my appointment. I'm obviously going to be late, so I will run. I will upload a news video later tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about the match in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be Barça.